And alright guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another video on the self-developed YouTube channel.
Oh my god, and I thought I prattled on too fast and for too long whilst making weird noises. This guy is clearly a pro and self-developed. What is this then? One of those self-help type deals? That's cool. Although I don't need that shit. I am peak physical performance because of my own brand of self-help. It's called Help Yourself to all of the whiskey. No, not you, me. This isn't you help.
Beautiful people. Yes, I know I shaved my head like a little too low.
Weird flex, but okay. And I mean that literally. Why did you feel the need to do the old gun show there? It's weird. And talking about your head, it's all kind of vain. Now, having a positive self-image, I'm all for it. Great. Love yourself. But I don't need you self-loving right in my face.
It'll grow back, give me a week, I just wanted to see what I would look like. Kind of feeling like Superman, but anyways, that's besides the video.
Superman was practically bald. I'm pretty sure it was Lex Luthor who had the short hair. You know, the bad guy. But good, glad to hear you're gonna stop jerking off at us. I mean, you wouldn't want to lose all that precious, apparently, brain juice. No, seriously, I did a video on it a bit ago, and it was wild. But anyway, let's get into this shit.
Let's jump in. Hopefully you guys are having an amazing day. In today's video, I titled it Boys and Girls.
Oh my god, would you stop? Like, seriously. I get the need to extend your crap as long as you can, but get to the fucking point already.
Why atheists are beta AF.
Thank you. Wait, no, the other one. Fuck you. What did you say? I'm beta. Excuse you. I am pre-alpha. Thank you very much. In fact, I'm not even that close to a finished product. I'm like the notion of an idea of a maybe something you would start to think about in terms of my completeness as a being. And that's just the way I like it, asshole.
Yes, I'm not gonna swear. We're done swearing, guys. We follow Christ.
Are you sure about that? Because I have a little thing that you might want to know. AF means as fuck, right? So when you say AF, that means you are actually saying as fuck, like straight up. And I know what you're thinking, but sick, you keep using bleeps. Yes, I do, but I do that because I like money and being able to actually have people see my videos. If I could say fuck without that bleep and be sure that YouTube wasn't going to randomly change the rules on me for the zillionth time, then I might never bleep it, because I am still perfectly happy saying the F word, so to speak. But when I bleep it, you still all know what I'm saying. And when he says AF, we still know what he's saying. So effectively, he's still saying it. Good job, you colossal fuck up.
And part of being holy is trying your best to hold your tongue, or to best use words that...
I wish you would hold your tongue, preferably with a set of pliers, and chop it off. No, that's not fair. I mean, we wouldn't have this video if you knew when to shut the hell up. Or if you knew how to do words in a way that didn't make you sound like a giant meathead. So thank you for that. Me am the very grateful.
Are there that represent God and not of ones who have foul mouths. As you guys know, I used to swear a lot.
I mean, if you want to represent God with words, you really shouldn't be speaking that English shit. You should be speaking classical Hebrew or possibly biblical Aramaic. Shit, the fact that you don't swear in those languages, how could God even tell? Hell, even if he does speak English, something that's a big swear today could be a punctuation point tomorrow. And there's so many words that used to be like technical terms that are now seriously uncool. Pretty sure if there's a real God who reels and isn't a total crapsack, he's gonna care way more about the things you do and what you mean rather than the specific words you use. I mean, you can say some really disgusting things without ever swearing. Just ask my mum what she thinks of me. That's a joke. She never thinks about me. See what I mean? Also, just to be clear, my mum's lovely, really, and like any good parent, she gave me just enough accidental trauma to make me funny. And I appreciate it.
Anyways though, with that said, atheists are beta AF, guys.
I just figured out he's not talking about software revisions. Mostly because he's probably not smart enough to know what those are. And considering the name and theming of this channel, this'll be one of them there alpha manly man dude bros. And is calling us atheists beta, aka less than, effectively. And you know, ignoring the fact that the whole alpha, beta, whatever shit is pseudoscientific nonsense based on a study that the author themselves really wishes people would stop using to base any kind of worldview around, how about you go f*** yourself, mate? You're not better than me. You're a human, and those things are all the absolute worst.
Now, I've been wanting to make this video for quite some time. You guys know that this channel has definitely taken a Christian perspective. It's taken a much more godly perspective. It's taken a monk mode perspective.
Well, thank fakeismo you took a fucking breath. Not for your sake, but for mine. Man, you know how much I love to interrupt, but damn, if he doesn't make that way harder than it needs to be. I wonder if that's by design. And okay, so you am now the Crimsbians. Cool, good for you. But, why do you think that gives you carte blanche to shit on atheists then? And this seems to be in an all way, because you know, I have no problem with people pointing out when individuals say stupid things and making fun of them for it, but painting groups who have generally wildly different worldviews and opinions and lifestyles and etc. with the same brush is stupid. Mostly because it just shows you to be a giant ignorant buffoon who has no idea what he's talking about. You might want to watch that.
I'm doing what like 0.2% of men have ever done or are doing, so of course I'm gonna get different results and think differently. So if you guys give me...
Here's one you've probably heard before. I'm not like other girls. Seriously, you are that meme, but for dipshit jocks. You probably aren't as different as you think you are, and everyone else definitely isn't the same as you think they are. I mean, for starters, being 2% of guys means you are just like about 80 million other blokes. Oh, how unique and special a snowflake you are, and your millions of like-minded mates. Reminds me of the individual tattoo. I'm an individual. Me too.
A weird eye that my channel's, evolved to this certain light. Well, like, what do you expect? I've been on retention celibacy for an entire year now, guys. This is just what's being called within me.
Oh, god damn it, he's one of those. The retention crowd, which is different from the actual no-fap groups who tend to be more about dealing with porn addiction, which is obviously well and good. But celibacy and specifically retention largely seems to be about not spuffing and how that makes you better than everyone else. And it's ironic that somehow they are the biggest wankers of them all.
And again, not that this is about me, this is just what's being called within men.
I'm sorry, what now? We are being called to not spuff and also do a big Jesus times. No, like seriously, even if that was true, how could you possibly know that? I'm pretty sure that not choking the chicken or getting your wick wet gives you freaking psychic powers. And isn't it strange how people from different places seem to have some pretty different callings in that regards, that often seem to align with the people that they grew up around? And in your case, you probably feel like all men are doing it because those are the only type of guys that you know, as if you have a very teeny tiny world that you live in, and maybe you should broaden your goddamn horizons.
Like, it's time for us to step up to the plate. You guys can keep just playing make-believe degeneracy with the rest of your red-pilled YouTubers, or you can stand up and evolve.
Make-believe degeneracy sounds like the name of a really fun board game, and I fucking hate board games. So yeah, and I'm not kidding. I used to think it made me a bad person, and then I realized I'm allowed to not like things that seemingly everybody else does. You have them. I'll be over there playing with one of my far too fucking many handheld gaming systems. I think I might have a problem, guys.
And yeah, maybe you look a little funny, but that's life. Like, what else do you expect? Am I supposed to be the exact same as everyone else? Are you supposed to be? No.
Seriously, there's both no such thing as the exact same as everyone else, but at the same time, we're all gonna die, we're all gonna cry, and we're all gonna have the occasional extremely painful shit. And if you're really unlucky, all three at the same time. The experience of being a person, whilst different for everybody, is also chocked full of things that make everybody basically the same thing. And that's okay. And when it comes to thinking you're special, well, that's probably going to be the least special thing about you.
Anyways, that's not the point of this video.
I don't believe you. Not that this is or isn't the point, but that you actually have one. I am pretty sure you're just rambling bullshit until your brain, such as it is, stops feeding you reams of nonsense. So you just kinda stop. I mean, I don't believe for a second any of this is scripted and is stuff you are saying, on purpose. Ugh, God, no. I'm pretty sure if you had the capacity to consider the things you say, you wouldn't.
With that, in today's video, like I said, atheists are beta AF.
Jeez, man, would you stop fucking swearing so cocking much? God's gonna be hella pissed for some reason. And okay, fine. Here's hoping you actually have some reasoning for this pointless and ineffectual ad hominem attack on people that you probably could not and more likely have no interest in actually understanding.
Now, guys, I'm not going to be going into the politics of, I don't know, I guess you could say atheism versus religion. I don't really care about that.
Okay, good, because that would be an unbelievably broad topic, especially when you are already too busy having made up your mind about what those other people are, do, and how they think. But yeah, atheists come in all political flavors. Theists come in every political class. There really isn't a specific atheist versus religious when it comes to politics. Because the question of, do you believe in a God, often doesn't affect people's other ideas. Now, that's not to say there aren't trends, but yeah, something else you don't understand. I am surprised.
Summarize this video into one main principle on why I believe the majority of atheists, not only is atheism being propagated in our society like hotcakes, like pancakes.
See, I was completely right about the script thing. He literally got halfway through that thought and then completely moved on to a different one. We were going to find out why we am something, and now it's actually that atheism is being passed around society like some sort of drug, even though it's still staggeringly few people will call themselves atheist in polite company. A lot of the time, because that company might get pretty impolite and a little bit pitchforky, at least depending on where you live. And if you don't live in one of those hellholes, well, yeah, we talk about it amongst ourselves and in our stupid YouTube videos, but outside of that, I have never really handed out any atheist hotcakes. Mostly because they would be mine and no one else can have them.
My dad used to say that. They're selling like hotcakes. It's just a dad joke, right?
Holy shit, you actually are a dumbass. That's like a super common thing people say, not just your dad. And it's not a joke. It's an idiom. It's a colloquial term. How would he understand this? It's a metaphor. No, I'm not even going to start with that. It's a thing people say that kind of means another thing to make you understand their original point. But yeah, you might actually be as dumb as you look. God damn.
Anyways, it all comes down to self-entitlement.
Of course, I don't not believe the claims of people's various gods and the experiences they think that they've had and all that related jazz because I find it all extremely unconvincing. I'm just entitled to not believe the shit other people think just because they think I should. I actually agree with you on that. I am entitled to believe the things I am convinced of. Oh no, how terrible of me. And it's certainly not entitled to think that your worldview should be forced onto others without a shred of evidence that the things you say are true. No, that's like the opposite of entitlement because of reasons.
Right. Now hear me out.
No. Oh, all right, just because it's you. I could never say no to that face.
When we are children, okay, the biggest difference between boy and man is his ability to take responsibility. Now,
I don't know, man. There are plenty of kids out there taking hella responsibilities. Responsibilities that, in my opinion, no child should ever have to undertake. Often because of some grown-ass individual who refuses to. And then even more grown-ass adults who consider themselves to be very important people will refuse to give them any support whatsoever. I don't think this shit has anything to do with boys and men, but just there are selfish assholes and there are people who aren't. Got nothing to do with how many years you've span around the fucking sun. Also, the implication is that atheists aren't adults then, because if so, that's probably the most childish shit I ever heard.
The reason I believe, I'm going to kind of go all over the place a little bit.
Oh, wow, really? Because you've just been so concise and on point so far.
The The reason I believe all men are built religious, we are meant to follow leaders and gods, is simply because when we were children, we followed a father above us, correct?
Not always. What are you even talking about? There's so many reasons. This is just nonsense. Aside from the fact that there are single parent homes with just mothers, or people raised in orphanages, or people with dads who basically do nothing but work and scarcely interact with their kids, and those households produce plenty of religious people. It could be less, it could be more, but that doesn't matter considering it definitely happens all the time. And even families where that's not the case and there's some big boss of the household shit style father figure, well, a lot of those people will end up atheists because how they see their dad is an overbearing asshole, and it will prove to that child that that's not the person they would ever want to be. Utter nonsense you spew in here, my dude. What a shock.
I mean, this is a perfect example.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be, and won't be something incredibly stupid that proves that you have never met a person, let alone an atheist.
As children, we, if in a righteous household, did very well because there was a leader above us. There was direction, there was guidance, there was a father. I literally think of my dad saying,
If we in a righteous household did well, I mean, define righteous for a start, and also define doing well. Your idea of success is probably very different from mine. Like yours seems to be being a manly man, alpha male, and showing off your sick, no not me, pythons. And mine is not growing up to be a massive cunt.
Yeah, you gotta act like this, don't act like this, do this, don't do this. There was a lot of order and boundary, right? Objectivity. And you may think, that's a bad thing, and this actually ties into why so many men are atheists. Maybe they had an abusive father, or they had a bad relationship to the masculine, right?
There are certainly plenty of people who had that, but I had none of it. I had normal parents doing normal shit, and I turned out atheist. But I think the strongest reason was because in our household, religion was not that important. I'll bet to your dad and household, it was. Shonk horror. You emulate your parents. It has nothing to do with you having a better life or being a better person, and everything else to do with influences. In which case, I can also assume that he wasn't particularly into critical thinking. Because if he had taught you even the smallest amount of it, you wouldn't be sat here saying stupid shit about things for which you clearly have no understanding.
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope, wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel Spoonstaff Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos, and she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the